Good day. Our parks, tenants, and communities have displayed an entrepreneurial spirit in response to COVID-19 and our global pandemic. Whether it's PPEs, new technology for communicating in a virtual world, or vaccine development, our greater community of innovation has provided a beacon of hope, even during what seemed to be the darkest of days. Today, we recognize our final Excalibur Award for Response and Resiliency to COVID-19, honoring the NGA, the National Governors Association, for individual and combined leadership that our state governors represent in their constituencies, providing protective and forthright leadership in times never before experienced. AURP recast the Excalibur Award to recognize institutions across the US that pivoted when COVID-19 arrived on our shores. This year's Excalibur Award represents leadership, research, response, and solutions demonstrated in the immediate threat of COVID-19 in our communities. The NGA joins with the Biotech Trade Association, BIO, the National Institutes for Innovation and Manufacturing Biopharmaceuticals, NIMBLE, at the Delaware Research Park, and the University of Nebraska Innovation Campus as additional recipients of the AURP Excalibur Award. Shortly after St. Patrick's Day, then NGA Chair Governor Hogan of Maryland, where I live, began appearing on our television sets on Sunday morning talk shows, outlining steps across the country, steps that governors were taking to respond to the health crisis, and reassuring the public. Since the beginning of the pandemic and the resulting economic slump, NGA has been working with governors who have been directing their state's resources where they are needed most and where they will achieve the greatest impact. The NGA has provided platforms for governors to communicate with each other and to easily follow what's happening in other states across the country on a daily basis. Through its programs, NGA has developed shared guidance that governors can find what works best to address the unique situations that arise in their states and at their anchor institutions, including colleges, universities, research parks, and tech companies. Over the years, governors have been key stakeholders in supporting research parks and innovation districts as state innovation infrastructure. Whether it was former North Carolina Governor Terry Sanford supporting growth at Research Triangle Park in that state, Delaware Governor Carney touring NIMBLE earlier this year, or Governor Hogan helping fund and attending the dedication of the virtual reality center adjacent to the University of Maryland Discovery District in College Park. From Arizona to Nebraska, from New York to California, governors and states have been critical stakeholders in building research parks and innovation districts. AURP is proud to work with governors across the country, our universities, and the corporations and the bio startup companies in our parks, working together to provide solutions to the COVID-19 pandemic. Accepting on behalf of the NGA, I welcome Timothy Blute, Director of the NGA Best Practices Center. Tim, on behalf of AURP, please accept the AURP Excalibur COVID-19 Response and Resiliency Award to the National Governors Association for the work NGA began this spring and continues to do this fall to find policy, financial, and technical solutions in all of our states to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you, Brian, for this kind award I have here in my office. Really appreciate the recognition. And on behalf of the National Governors Association, let me just start by thanking the Association of University Research Parks for thinking of us and for giving us this award, and really for recognizing the national leadership of our nation's governors. For those of you who don't know, NGA is the bipartisan voice of the nation's governors. We're based here in Washington, D.C., and we represent the 55 state and territorial governors. I direct the Center for Best Practices, which is a team of policy experts who provide research and assistance to governors and their staffs across the full suite of state public policy issues. Like all Americans, frankly, like everybody in the world this year, our world was overtaken by COVID-19 in March, and we essentially turned into a nearly around-the-clock COVID response team. While the work was challenging and the hours were long, it was a great comfort to witness the incredible leadership governors are providing during this pandemic. Over these last months, we've responded to hundreds of research and assistance requests, published nearly 100 public memos and research briefs, and hosted more calls and briefings than I can even begin to count, all with the aim of giving governors and their staff timely, actionable, and implementable policy advice and counsel. While this work has been ongoing since March of this year, we don't anticipate it ending anytime soon. We continue to support governors as they begin to think about the next phases of the pandemic, including issues like vaccine distribution and treatment, and begin to look around the corner to think about what does an economic recovery look like when the pandemic is in our rearview mirrors. In closing, let me thank the association for the work they do in promoting first-class research and innovation around the country. As we all pivot to begin to think about what an economic recovery will look like, it's going to be organizations like this and all of your members who play a critical role in informing the national recovery, especially with a focus on innovation, entrepreneurship, and research. Thanks again to the association, and Brian, thanks again for recognizing NGA with this great award. Really appreciate it.
Great. Thank you, Tim. Let's celebrate the NGA recognition with your virtual congratulations through social media using the AURP hashtags that you see. Thank you.